Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Mina. Welcome to my channel, Mina Reads, and today we're going to be doing a like this, try this recommendation video. And I'm going to tell you about some books that maybe you've already read, you've already loved, and I will give you recommendations based on those. Before we get into the books, I do just want to mention today's sponsor, Byzance. So Byzance is a new book app where basically you can talk to people about books in different chat rooms. And so basically how it works is that you make your account, and when you go on, you can select the book. So whatever book you're currently reading or you just finished, you can put it as currently reading or you can put it as read. If you put it as currently reading, you can talk to other people who are reading it as well. Or if you put it as read, you can go into like a spoilery group chat. And I just think it's a really cool app because I know that for me personally, when I read a book that I really love or I have a lot of passionate feelings about, I want to talk about them and I want to talk about like the spoilers and stuff, but I don't want to ruin the experience for like my friends or whatever if my friends are planning to read it at some point. So I think this is a really great way to be able to talk about books and be able to like spoil and everything like that to your heart's content in, you know, a safe space with other people who have read it. So this app is free to download. I will leave a link in the description below, but you can also just download it from your app store. You can also share your profile with friends. I will try to share my profile in the description below. I don't necessarily know how to do it, but I'm gonna figure it out. So yeah, once I figure out how to link my account, I will also leave that in the description below, and you can come chat with me. I'm currently reading Golden Sun, so that's the chat room that I'm in right now. And yeah, so thank you so much to Byzance for sponsoring this video. Let's get into the books. So the first book, if you like, spoiler alert, by Olivia Dade. This is a book about these two characters, Marcus and April. And Marcus is a TV star. He's in a show, this kind of Game of Thrones-esque, and April, she is a geologist, but she is a huge fan of the show and the book series that it's based on. And so essentially Marcus and April, they have been communicating for a long time because they're in like the same fan fiction writer Discord server, and they don't know each other's identity at all. They have like an anonymous identity that they talk to each other on. And I think that if you are a fan of maybe books that have like online relationships, I think you will really enjoy Hold Me by Courtney Milan. Hold Me by Courtney Milan is about these two characters, Maria and Jay. And, Maria and Jay, they meet in person and it's a horrible first impression. They absolutely hate each other, so they have this enemies to lovers thing going on in real life, but online they're actually best friends, and they spend a lot of time talking to each other through Maria's blog where she talks about sci-fi nerdy things, and they just like kind of geek out together, and it's really cute. So we have two protagonists of color. Maria, she is a trans Mexican woman, and Jay, he is a bisexual Chinese and Thai man. So we love diversity. I think that if you're a fan of maybe like that mistaken identity, online relationship, and like the online relationship is very different from the dynamic that they have in real life, and you want that, check this out. So next we have a book that I've recommended a million times, and I'm sure some of you have taken that recommendation. So if you're looking for more books like this, I would recommend American Sweethearts by Adriana Herrera. So Zany, we're following these two characters, Mason and Zenny, and they basically have to enter this kind of marriage of convenience so they can get access to Zany's inheritance. So basically they enter this marriage of convenience and all this good stuff. Now, the plot of this is very different than the plot of American Sweethearts. American Sweethearts is more so a second chance romance between these two people. They were lovers and they've had this on again, off again relationship for years. And this is basically telling like this final leap where they're trying to figure out if they can make their relationship work. Now, the reason that I think that these two will pair nicely together is one, because they both have bisexual heroes. So Mason is bisexual, so is Zany. And in this, the male protagonist, Juan Pablo, he is bisexual. And also I think that both Mason and Juan Pablo are very like emotionally available people. They're very mature, they are really good at expressing their feelings and their emotions, and they are very proud and open about like the love and the adoration that they have for the protagonist. So I feel like if you're into emotional availability and you like bisexual heroes, you should try these out. Can't believe that I forgot to mention that Juan Pablo and Mason both like to get pegged, so also, we love that similarity, so check it out. Next, we have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang and Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. So I think that if you have really liked The Kiss Quotient, which is about this character named Stella, and Stella, she is an autistic woman and she's ready to get married, but she hasn't really had all that much experience with sex and relationships, and so she decides that she is going to hire an escort named Michael to help her kind of simulate a boyfriend experience so that she can have some experience when she enters like real relationships. So this involves like a sex pack, so to speak. And this involves a very similar trope, not exactly the same storyline, but similar. So Take a Hit, Danny Brown, we're following these two characters, Zaf and Danny. Danny is a PhD student and she is a professor at this university, and Zaf, he is a bodyguard in the building that she works in, and they are basically like workplace friends. And one day there's this picture of them that goes viral, and so everyone believes that they're in a relationship, so they end up fake dating. Now you're saying, Amina, these don't sound anything alike. But I think both of these are really funny rom-coms that have a sex pack at the center of the romance, and this is how the two characters kind of get together, how they end up relating to each other, and I think that it's really fun. Both of them, I would highly recommend both of them if you have not read them already. So yeah, give these a try. Okay, next up we have the ubiquitous The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, and this is a workplace romance between Josh and Lucy. They hate each other, supposedly, and they just really cannot stand each other, and so this book involves a lot of bickering and bantering, and then we see how they end up getting together. So I think a lot of people really love this rom-com. They think it's really fun, and one of the things that I often see in good reviews of this book is that it has amazing banter. So they love like the whole bickering and all the banter that the characters do together, and I think if you enjoy that, you will definitely enjoy Getting Schooled by Christina C. Jones. Getting Schooled is about these two characters, Reese and Jay, and Reese is a TA for an English class, and Jay is in that English class. Basically, Reese grades him poorly on his assignment, and so he can't stand her, and they have this really like playful animosity between each other, and they bicker and banter a lot. So I think that if you're into that kind of dynamic, you will really enjoy Getting Schooled. Okay, next up we have Rend by Rowan Parrish, a book that I have recommended a million times. This is about this character named Matt and his husband Reese, and basically Matt and Reese, they've been married for about a year, and their marriage is going pretty good. But Matt, he has like some separation anxiety essentially, and Reese is going away for a few months on tour because he's a musician. So this book is really about Matt dealing with like his abandonment issues and like his personal trauma and how that is influencing his romantic relationship. So this is really a story of a really nice, wonderful romance between Matt and his husband, but it's also about like Matt and his self-growth and like his mental health. And I think if you would like a similarly angsty premise, you will really like Parker by Jack Harbin. Parker is about this guy named Trey, and he's been in an abusive relationship, and he's recently run away from his boyfriend, and the night that he runs away, he ends up meeting this woman named Whitney. Whitney, she is kind enough to invite him into her home because he doesn't have a place to stay. So he ends up meeting Whitney's adopted son named Parker, and this is a romance between Trey and Parker while Trey is kind of moving past his trauma and dealing with, you know, his experiences in this abusive relationship. So I think that if you like angsty gay romance, that's something that you want, I would recommend both of these. If you've already read Rend, definitely check out Parker, or if you read Parker, definitely check out Rend. Next, we have One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. This is the most hyped sapphic romance of the year, and this is basically about these two characters, August and Jane, and essentially the big premise of this is that Jane is trapped on a subway and she's in this kind of time loop, and so August sees Jane on the subway every day, and they end up falling in love because, you know, they see each other all the time, and this is a story of them trying to figure out how to get Jane out of the time loop. Now, if you liked One Last Stop, I'm gonna recommend you Honey Girl. Honey Girl is about this character named Grace. She recently graduated with her PhD, and now she kind of doesn't know what she wants to do with her life, and so she ends up going to Vegas, and she gets drunk and she gets married in Vegas, and this is a story about her relationship with this woman that she married, and also her trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life, where she's going next, and everything like that. And so you may be saying, Amina, they don't sound anything alike, but I think that if you enjoy this book, you might enjoy this one, because in One Last Stop, August is really dealing with trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life and where she's going. I would say in terms of like her personal growth and development, she's really up in the air about what she wants to do with the rest of her life. And Grace is going through a very similar period of transition, and she really doesn't know what she wants to do or where she's trying to go. So I think that if you want a story about like millennial ennui, then I would definitely check both of these out. And they both have a really fun like friend group, extended friend group, like found family vibe. So if you like that, you should totally check these both out, or check this one out. Yeah, they're great. Okay, so the next recommendation that I have for you is, if you liked The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan, I think you might like The Garden of Eden by Millie Belzer. Let's talk about The Intimacy Experiment first. So The Intimacy Experiment is about this character named Naomi, and she was formerly a porn star. She has now turned into like this business mogul, and she has a business all about like sex education. And so she wants to be able to go into like classrooms and teach people about sex. And Ethan, he is a rabbi, and he offers her space and time at his synagogue to come and teach young people about like sex education. So if you are interested in the idea of a character in a relationship with like a religious leader, then I would say check out The Garden of Eden by Millie Belzer, because this is about a girl. She's a pop star and she ends up meeting this guy, and he is like a youth minister at a church. So if that's something that like interests you, you think it's like a fascinating concept to read about, like a person who works in a religious setting in a relationship, check this one out. Also, this is a Black romance, so yeah, okay. And so the last pairing that I have for you is, if you liked One Day in December, you might like People We Meet on Vacation. One Day in December is about these two characters who meet at a bus station, and it's basically like love at first sight, but they never get to talk to each other. And then they end up meeting again a year later, but the guy has ended up in a relationship with the girl's best friend. So this is a story all about like misconnections and poor timing that prevents these two characters from being able to get into a relationship. This story spans a very long period of time, and we get to see their relationship in various stages. And so if you like slow burn, if you like the whole like angst of a misconnection, right person, wrong time, you should read People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. People We Meet on Vacation is about these two characters, Poppy and Alex, and they are college best friends. Every year they go on this annual vacation together. Now, 2 years ago, some event happened that has basically made them estranged, and they haven't talked to each other in a while. Poppy decides that she's going to plan one last vacation for them to go on to hopefully rekindle their relationship. And so like One Day in December, this book also spans a very long period of time, and we get to see their friendship in various stages, and we also get to see how their relationship develops. It's a really nice slow burn. So I think if you like angsty slow burn and you like this idea of like, you know, the right person at the wrong time, you will probably enjoy this. So that's the end of the recommendations video. I hope I was able to help you guys out, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and a special thank you to all of my wonderful patrons.